keep us in chains. By a show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same? 1% trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough. Day after day, we're working it all away. They keep poking the bear, and they're bound to get made. So I'll raise my glass for the hard-working class. Keep your fires burning hot, we can't be silent.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and for the millions watching at home, DCK Productions proudly brings to you the greatest podcast in the world! The greatest podcast in the world? Suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. I appreciate it if you both suck it. Suck it!
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome everybody to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome. Derek, how the fuck is everybody tonight? I feel like shit. I woke up this morning. I don't know if it's allergies. I don't know if I'm coming down with a sinus infection, but my mouth and throat were like all swollen. I couldn't even swallow. So, the only thing getting me through the night is these Vapo-Cool sore throat drops. Not a sponsor, but thank you, Vicks, for making such a remarkable product that allows me to talk and swallow without crying like a little bitch. But anyway, we'll be fine. I got plenty of those to go through the rest of the night, and we'll be good. But so how was everybody's Thursday? We are one day away from, it's Friday Eve. It's fantastic. I'm excited. Get to go into the weekend, hopefully feeling strong. And then I got my comedy show on Saturday, first show since freaking February. And I'm headlining. I got to go half an hour. That's going to be fun. So let me tell you how excited I am about that. But hey, whatever. It'll happen. And I'm working with the venue right now to see if we can actually stream that live on Saturday. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow if that's going to be possible. Because then we can stream it right here, and you guys can watch me bomb. Because that's what I do best. I just suck at life apparently. So that's all good. But my guest tonight does not suck at life. He has been producing and traveling for such networks as Velocity, the Cooking Channel, the Travel Channel, Speed, Fox Sports, and the Food Network. He's done it all. And in 2016, he wrote his first movie called Night Terrors, starring Scream Queen Laurene Landon and punk rock legend Jack Grisham. Night Terrors has a successful run at many different festivals and walked away with a number of Best Shorts, Best Screenplay, and Best Director. And then in 2017, he turned his attention to things a little less horrific and a little bit more dramatic. For the Love of Jessee, with the movie For the Love of Jessee. For the Love of Jessee won Best Dramatic Screenplay at the Los Angeles Film Festival in 2017. So please welcome my guest tonight, the director of those movies, David McAbee. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Derek, what's cracking, man?
Not much, brother. Not much at all.
Good to be here, man.
Trying to get through the day.
Just trying to make. I hate to be that guy and correct you from the get-go, but it's McAbee.
I know.
I
did it yesterday too. It's hard.
Scottish folks, we throw that silent A in there, and it confuses everybody.
Yeah. English is rough.
Words are rough, bro.
Words are hard.
I are a writer.
See, that's why I just scribble, and I hope I can remember what it says later.
What's that? Say it again.
I said that's why I just scribble, and I can hope that I can read what it says later.
At least you scribble. I usually just vomit or spit a little something up and try to make images out of it.
You should see my joke notebook. I mean, I swear to God, it is just like it looks worse than Doctor's handwriting. And I just glanced down at it and go, what the fuck? What was I thinking? That doesn't even make any sense.
How high am I?
Not today. I couldn't smoke today. I got a sore throat, brother. So I'm drinking Mountain Dew.
Not coming down with the COVID.
I don't think it is because I haven't been coughing. I coughed a little bit yesterday, but like I could just feel it was something going on with my throat. And then this morning, like I said, it just felt like someone was strangling me, and I couldn't swallow at all. I could barely get down any water. And then my wife made me some soup, and I was able to eat some soup, and that opened up everything. And we went to the store and got these Vapo Cool things, and that's the only thing I've been eating all day is just sucking these down, and my throat feels fine now. But I have a feeling that when I wake up tomorrow morning, it's gonna suck. I can feel it.
Yep. So yeah, get it out of your system now before you go on stage.
Oh my God, no, that'd be even funnier. Walk up there. I can't talk. Then nobody's gonna try to heckle me. They're not gonna try to be assholes.
That's true. I guess that's the silver lining.
Well, actually, no, they'd probably be more of an asshole. We can't hear you. Fuck you. So, how's life, brother? How's things going?
Well, I think life is life right now. Things are questionable, but all in all, good. I can't complain too much. The wife and I are nice and hunkered down here in Los Angeles, and just trying to get through all this bull. So good though. I'm busy writing and promoting the movie. So thank you again for having me on, and just trying to keep my head up.
Okay. Now I didn't really understand this too much. So maybe you can explain it to me, because I tried to research and I didn't really find any answers, and I didn't want to ask Jimmy, so I just wanted to ask you. So
shoot.
In 2017, this movie won the awards that it did, but why is it just now being released?
Yes. Okay. Good question. So 2017, I wrote it, and we shot it at the end of 2017, finished shooting 2017, edit all year 2019, 2018, edit 2018, 2019, release. It just takes honestly forever. For independent films, especially ones like ours, we're doing it all on our own. By we, I mean me and my two other producers. So finding distribution takes so long, and now I've learned the hard way how to do it. Hopefully next time. But yeah, it just took a long time to kind of get it in front of the world.
What was the inspiration behind this movie, especially knowing what you came from?
Yeah, to be honest, like you said in the intro, man, I'm a horror guy. All this stuff behind me, it's all horror VHS. I'm a horror nerd. The producers for the Love of Jessee I worked with them on a thing, and we kind of hit it off, and they saw my short Night Terrors, and we're totally digging on it. And she came to me, she's like, "Hey, I've got an idea for a story," and she pitched me the idea for Jessee. And she's like, "Do you think you could write it? Is that something you could do?" And I was like, "You know what? If you let me direct it, I'll write it." And that took a long time to kind of get there, but that's kind of how I fell into the relationship with our producers.
Okay. That makes complete sense. Because like when I was reading through it, it's kind of seems like it has a lot of, and maybe I'm wrong, a lot of religious and spiritual annotations involved with it. So coming from a horror aspect of things, which is completely polar opposite, was that
Sure.
was it attracted to you about it? I mean, are you a religious guy, or is this something that is just so out of your realm that you just wanted to be challenged?
Honestly, yes to both. I would, as much as I am like a punk rock nerd, a horror nerd, I love metal. Like, I'm pretty religious. I mean, I hate saying religious, but like, yeah, I believe in God. And that's not really what attracted me for the Love of Jessee. The idea, what really attracted me to it was that these are seem like real people. And this is like shit we've all been through. Maybe not losing a baby or losing a wife, but like we've all struggled with really hard stuff. We've had broken relationships, broken marriages, broken hearts, rejected, need some sort of redemption. And those were the themes that I was kind of grasping for when I was writing the script. I needed something to wrap my head around to make it make sense for me before I could put it on paper. And those were the themes I was kind of rolling with.
That makes sense. I mean, you got to keep challenging yourself. You can't just keep, doing the same thing over and over again.
No, and it was hard as hell to write the script, man. And it's the first time I'd worked collaboratively with somebody, especially with someone who, and God bless her, she's great. Our producers are awesome, but she'd never written a script. She just had the idea for the story. So I would write an act, send it to her, and she would nitpick and pick it apart, and we would go back and forth until it was right, until we both agreed on it, at least. So that was the challenge, was working with someone for the first time, and it ended up working really well, and we still talk a lot to this day and have a great relationship. But that was the first of many struggles for this movie.
Gotcha. So how is it being released right now, being that the world is under the shit?
It's shitty, man. Yeah, it's shitty because, like, I don't want to be that asshole who's like, oh, I know no one has a job or money. Go rent my movie. Like, who's that butthole? Like, I don't want to be that guy. But like, it's people are watching it. Like, we get messages all the time from people like that saying they loved it and say that it touched them, saying that it like hit like an emotional core for them. And that's the part that I like the most. I don't read reviews. I don't look at scores because, I don't want to bum myself out. But just hearing that people like it, and it's like reaching people on like an emotional level and say they can relate to it or they've been through something like that, that's kind of the stuff I like. But with the way the world is right now, I just encourage people to turn off the news and put on our movie. Like, you can find it on Amazon Prime for like 99 cents or something, and like spend like an hour and a half with our movie and not in the news, and just kind of like escape for a minute. So it's getting out there. And thanks to people like you, it's getting out there a little more.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. But at the same time, we're going to talk about other stuff too, because that's what I like to do.
Yeah, please.
So with all that being said, it leads me into my next question. So I'm going to talk a little bit later during my monologue about the state of the industry as a whole. Disney is going to take a bunch of their lower budget, not so big blockbuster films and put them to maybe to video on demand or maybe straight to Disney Plus. Warner Brothers is thinking about doing the same thing, except for with Tenet. That's the only one they're not going to put out, but everything else are going to go straight to HBO Max. With everything that's going on, how do you feel? Like, do you think the state of the movie industry will ever get back to where it was? Do you think we'll ever go back to movie theaters again? And if you do, I mean, it's going to be different, right?
Yeah, first and foremost, it's going to be super different. And the optimist in me and the movie theater lover in me wants this shit to get over so I can go back to the movies. Like, I was holding out for Tenet this year, like seeing that in the theater. Like, that's the one everybody wants to see. But also, I go to the Alamo all the time downtown and just see whatever small little indie flick is there, because I love the theater. I love the theater experience of sitting in a crowded theater, listening to people laugh, watch people jump, listen to people cry, whatever it is. But like, there's something about that community that I think isn't replaceable with watching it on TV. Yeah, it's more convenient. It's cool to see brand new movies on our TVs right away, but it's not the same experience as sitting in a theater that smells like popcorn, that smells like theater food, that with a bunch of people you don't know sharing the same experience. And I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. It's like, I forget what movie we watched, but it was some brand new movie straight to VOD that was supposed to be in theaters. And I was like, yeah, that was great. It was a cool movie, but it should have been on the big screen. Like, some movies need to be felt on a big screen. It doesn't matter how big your home theater is. It needs to be like, some movies you need to see in a theater with the surround sound and the big screen and the scares and the excitement. Like, you can't replace that. Like, that's something you can't just have at home.
No. And it does, but it can happen. if you've seen it in the theater and then you took it home and bought it and then rewatched it a bunch of times, you can get that same feeling again. But if it's the first time, I definitely feel you. And I'm actually a big fan of the Alamo too. We have one here nearby. It's my favorite theater I love to go to, because nothing in the world is better than to be able to write on a little card that I want a beer and then sit it right here and then they bring you one. You know what? We tried that a couple weeks ago. We turned off all the lights. We set up, table trays in front of the TV, and we all watched the movie. And I tried to put a little piece of card in front of it. My daughter wouldn't go get me a beer. It sucked. I had to get up and get it myself. But I even tried to tip her. She wouldn't do it.
The same thing. I tried training my dogs to go pour me another tequila, and like they just take it for themselves, and it's super selfish. So
yeah. Yeah, it's like, go get me a cookie, and then she'll eat half the cookie on the way back. It's like, damn it.
Tax day, Dad.
Exactly. But you know what? I mean, I do miss the theater experience, especially places like the Alamo, because, they're, for those of you who don't have an Alamo near you, because there's not a lot of them. It's an eat-in type restaurant movie theater. They bring you all their food. They're like, the servers are like ninjas in the night. You don't see them come in. All of a sudden, food just kind of appears in front of you. You have a little card, you write on it. It's awesome. It's awesome. But they're small theaters in order to make sure that they can take care of everybody in there equally and not have to wait for their food, wait for their drinks, so on and so forth. So that's what I love about it. It's like going to a club to see a band, instead of going to see a live, a big old theater or a freaking arena. Going to a club and getting that intimate experience. Like I've seen, for every Marvel movie for the last 6 years, I've seen inside of an Alamo. And cool. I mean, there's just there's nothing like it at all.
There's nothing like it. And that's another thing that I miss, man, or going to the club, man. I miss going to shows. Like I'm too old to be dancing on the floor, but now I'm the cool old guy that stands in the back with a beer and watches the bands that I've seen 100 times, but this time I'm actually watching them instead of like dancing or getting rowdy or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the second thing I miss the most, man, is going to shows.
Yeah, and actually I miss music too, because I'm a huge metalhead. I mean, I've seen so many different things. I have tickets supposedly for October, maybe.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to be in May, and then it got moved to October. So hopefully that still falls through. Because my favorite band's on this lineup, and I would love to see them, but whatever. But what I've done is over the next couple weeks, I've booked like 18 bands to come on and play live shows. But I've booked 18 bands that were unsigned local acts that haven't gotten to play in a while and looking to get some exposure. So I'm letting them play a full hour and a half, however many songs you can play live, play it on my show.
Oh, that's bitching, dude. That's super cool. So
that's starting next week on Tuesday. So I can't remember who I have on with me next Tuesday, but I just got the list today from Eileen. So I'm going to do the interview at 8, 9 o'clock. The show starts. I'm going to turn myself off, and I'm just going to sit back and watch. It's all about the music. Exactly. It's not going to be the same as, being inside of a club with a beer, but you know what? I can put it out for YouTube. I can put it out for people to watch, and hopefully I get some exposure for these guys.
And it's the second best thing. You can still sit there with the beer and watch it. Yeah, it's not in a crowded club or whatever, but it's the second best thing. And it's people like you who are kind of like using the tools that we have to still enjoy the things that we love. It's like we still love movies. Okay, I can watch them on our TV. I love bands. I can book them and have them on the show. So it's another good outlet for people.
Yeah, and to be totally honest, I mean, me and Jimmy talked about this the other day. I'm actually using the star power of the whoever I have on that day as basically a base audience to show off these new bands. So that's kind of help too, which is why I'm not doing them separately. No, it's like a Tonight Show thing. Here's our guest, here's our musical guest, here's our guest, here's our musical guest. So hopefully that works out good for them. I mean, I don't care about views for me. I'm worried about them getting the exposure they deserve.
Yeah, well, everyone want it to work for everybody, So
absolutely, yeah.
That's the way to do it. And how awesome is Eileen and Jimmy? Like they're the shit.
They truly are. They really truly are. Yeah, I love working with them. Yeah. So, with all that said, say for instance, you know, like I'm a big Marvel guy, as you can see. You know, we're supposed to have 2 movies come out this fall from Marvel. You know, one being Black Widow, and then we have another one which I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head because I'm cloudy. But
not New Mutants. Is it New Mutants?
Well, New Mutants is part of it, but it hasn't. They haven't figured out a way to intertwine it yet. It's supposed to be a part of the MCU, but they haven't figured out how to way to work it into the actual story. No, it's I can't think of what it is. It's got Angelina Jolie in it. That's all I can remember because my head is like,
and that comedian who got all jacked for it.
Yes.
God, now I can see the logo in my head, but for the life of me,
oh my God, it's gonna bug the crap out of me now.
I know. But I am looking. I saw the first trailer for that, or the teaser for it, and it looks dope. And I'm gonna try and look it up while I'm.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie. What is that movie?
Yeah, it's killing me. Come on, interwebs.
Let's go to our IMDb.
There.
The Eternals. The Eternals.
Thank you. There it is. Yes.
Yeah, I could not think of it off the top of my head. But now we have, so those 2 are supposed to be coming out, and we're supposed to be continuing into phase 4 and continuing on with that. You know, do you think Disney is going to, and this applies to everything, because, you know, there's other sequels supposed to be coming out, like the next Mission Impossible is supposed to be coming out soon, you know, so on and so forth. Do you think that, you know, these blockbusters are going to be really, really held off for much longer than they already have? Because Black Widow is supposed to come out in May. Do you think they're really going to wait beyond November to release it? And or you really do?
I think they'll wait because they want to get as much bang for their buck. They don't want to dump I bet they're going to try and not dump it. They don't want to dump this stuff on VOD. They want to maximize their entire capital, and they want to put it in theaters where people are paying, where they're going to get the bulk of their money. So I would bet they're going to hold off until there's no other option. Be it this thing spikes again, theaters shut down forever, what have you. But I have a feeling they'll hold off as long as they can.
Because the reason why I say that is because right now, the last time I checked with Endgame, Disney was required theaters 65 or 70% of ticket sales. It was a high percentage.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Now, if you think about it, you know, a family of 4 costs $80 to go to the movie theater minimum.
Yeah.
But so not everybody can go to the movie theater because it's just too much money. But if you've got 4 families and 3 of them wouldn't normally go to the movie theater because it costs $80, but now they're going to spend $20 to watch it on VOD. Don't you think they could earn the same amount of money and cut out the middleman with the movie theaters?
Cut out the middle. Yeah, probably. I mean, again, it's that theater love and that optimism in me that I'm just like, don't make, because if they continue to do that, there's no reason for theaters. Like no one's watching indie movies in theaters, but like a handful of us. So most people are going to see the tentpoles, the Marvels, the Christopher Nolans, the Mission Impossibles, the tentpole movies. If they take that away from theaters, most people are going to say, well, what's the point of leaving the house then? Like, why would I leave the house? I can get it for $20, rent it. I have it the same night. You know, it bums me out, but yeah, you know, it's a bummer that they'd have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess what really scares me is, and I don't know if this has stopped because I haven't Googled it in a while. I guess AMC was going to file bankruptcy and just close down everything. And then Amazon was going to step in and buy them. And if that happens, or if it did happen, or if it's still in process, I don't know. I think that would ruin AMC because they would just take that away and they say, oh, fine, now we're just going to put everything on Amazon Prime. And boom, that's how we're going to do it. So I think the movie going experience is it might be dead, to be totally honest with you.
If it's not dead, it's on its last nerve because people younger than me, I think of like my nephew who's 16, like his generation, they don't go to the movies. That's not like what they do. When I was 16, that's all I did every weekend was go to the movies. If I wasn't at the movies, I was renting movies from the video store, things that don't exist either. So it may be a thing that it's like, I hate to sound like that old curmudgeon old man, but I'm like, back in my day, we'd love to go to the theater, but you have to embrace change even as much as it sucks.
Do you think this is the time for drive-ins to make a comeback?
Yeah, and I think that's the funniest thing throughout all of this COVID bullshit, and all the theaters are closed, this, that, and the other. It's people who are thinking outside the box. Who are like, well, we have that drive-in that we only do a swap meet at once a month. What if we start playing movies again? And now drive-ins are the biggest thing because people want to get out of the house. People want to go experience it. People want to have that experience.
Yeah, the only thing that I think that need to change if they did it, because I haven't been to a drive-in theater in forever, but I know the technology exists, is if you're going to go there, no more speakers that just sit right there. You need to be able to connect to an FM dial and have your radio.
Last time I went, you connect. They have like a small band FM broadcaster, and you tune into 89.8, and that's it.
Okay, well, good. So they already thought of that. Okay, because like I said, I haven't been to one in forever. That would be the only one that would really need to change. But I think that's the only way. I mean, I was talking to a rap artist not too long ago, who I've become good friends with now, by the name of Chef Sean, and he's actually going across America doing shows at drive-ins.
Yeah.
Because they're for everybody socially distanced. You can see him perform if you're close enough up on the stage, but then you're really going to see him up on the screen. So I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. I mean,
and also a lot of stand-up comedians, like you guys like yourself, are doing that. Like their tours aren't at clubs or stadiums anymore. They're doing the drive-in thing, which I think is super rad.
Yeah, I really think that's the way of the past could be the way of the future.
I think so. Just like applying it to a 2020 diagram, it's like put the shows, put the concerts, put the movies. It's all in the same one spot. You still get out of the house. You still feel like connected to a community. You're still having a good time. You're not stuck at home. So I'm all for it. We got 2 or 3 drive-ins down here. We haven't been yet, but like it's on our list. It's like finally we can go out and go see movies. Go do it. Go have the experience.
Yeah, we have one nearby. It's in the middle of bumfuck, Northern Virginia. But they only play classic old movies right now because there's nothing being released. So I'm curious to see what would happen with that, and if it even more. In Northern Virginia, we have a lot of open space. There's a lot of places, a lot of things that we could do with that. So I'm hoping something like that happens. That would be rad.
Yeah, tell your people to get on it. All these idiots out here in California, they're missing out.
Yeah, because I still remember one of my first memories as a kid was going to see E.T. in a drive-in.
That's dope.
That's like my first memory as a kid.
Yep, that's great.
It also dates how old I am too. So
I'm not too far behind you, man. I remember seeing E.T. in the theater and being just blown away. And that's like the thing, that's like the pinnacle of like being a creator, is like having that memory, like giving someone that memory the first time they saw something. Like the youngest memory you have is something that somebody made. Like that's amazing. Like that's the reason why to create, why to try to do this shit,
Yeah. Do you think and I've asked this question similarly to musicians, do you think with the advent of basically super phones that take 4K video that can, do just as many things as a standard movie cam can, and then also they're even making freaking rigs to make I can't remember what the name of the camera is, but and they can just do all these different things just with a phone. Do you think the advent of that is creating too much of a saturation in the market, or do you think it's a good thing?
Again, I think I fall somewhere right down the middle. I mean, I have students or people who want to make films always ask me that. It's like, how do I do it? What do I do? I would say just do it. Like our phones do that. People our age, when we wanted to make movies as kids or as young adults, you either had to know somebody with a video camera, buy the tapes, charge the batteries, borrow it from friends. Like it was such a hassle just to get it. Now it's in our pockets all the time. But with that said, of course, there's going to be an oversaturation of shitty content, be it movies, music, what have you. But usually the cream rises to the top. If you're making music on your phone, if you're making movies on your phone, it still takes a level of talent that you have to have to make a thing and make it worthwhile. And then hopefully that pushes its way in front of all the other BS that's out there. Because there's a lot of bad movies. There's a lot of bad music of people just making stuff. But it usually just gets lost in all the shuffle. Usually the good stuff rises to the top.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. I mean, even me as a digital content creator, I mean, I host this show, which I'm hoping within the next year to turn into more of a studio-based, I guess, and I've said this before, so I want to take the best elements of Rogan and Stern and then mix them in with the best elements of the Tonight Show and the Late Show and make a show that is that's uncensored, crazy, but has that same style of format of, guests and bands and stuff like that, but in a studio. But then at the same time, say, I'm not going to ask you what this PR rep said. I want to get to the heart of things, just like I have this interview like now. I'm going to ask you anything I can just to get that question out. But they're all about joking around, getting the gags out and stuff like that on the Tonight Show. But yet, Rogan and Stern ask the hard questions. I kind of want to infuse those two. So, I mean, I have that going on. And then I also have my mental health show that I do on Mondays. I'm getting ready to roll out a game show as well. So nice. I'm making my channel all inclusive, so many different things. But at the same time, I have a concept for a movie that I want to write that I think is probably it's either going to be extremely good or extremely horrible. And there's nothing in the middle.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're going to either absolutely fall in love with it or you're going to absolutely hate it. Like there's no in between. And I think the concept of it is just mind blowing. My wife thinks it's hilarious. A couple of my friends were like, I don't know about that, but it's
dude, I say write it. Like there's no better time than now. Write that damn thing and get it out there.
I'll have you direct it.
You're done and done. I'm in.
I need to off the air. I need to tell you what this is, and you'll laugh. You will die.
Nice. I'm into it, dude. I'm so into it. But I think that's what people want, especially in the podcast realm. People like that long format. I know I do. Like I've done a few like regular radio things, and it's that 10-minute, 15-minute bit. Like, what's the movie about? Any funny anecdotes? What's your favorite movie? Like, bop, bop, bop. And there's no like heart to any question, which is great too. Like, whatever gets my movie out there, I generally don't care. But like, I would much rather have a conversation with somebody, tell you all the pitfalls and shitty things that happened on set, or why I like doing what you're doing, or why you do what you do, because that's more entertaining. And I think people want authenticity now, and you're not going to get authenticity with, well, my favorite movie is blah blah blah, and that blah blah blah, and that's why I'm a writer. Yay! That's not real. That's a 2-minute answer to a 30-second question.
Absolutely, and that's not what I'm about. I don't like that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, I'm going to ask you about the movie that you're coming out with. I gotta ask the typical questions, but then at the same time, it's like once we're done with that, let's get down to nitty gritty of who you are and why, why you are the way you are. I mean, so like, why did you go from, shooting Food Network and cooking channel stuff to doing horror? I mean, what was the transition in that? I mean, that's a question I want to know.
I moved out to LA in 2009 and kind of just got sucked into the world of docu-reality, all the stuff you just mentioned. And it's when you're working and you're making money and things are doing well, you kind of like forget the reason that you moved out here. And I got hired to produce this this pilot that never went anywhere, and that's how I met the producers for Jessee and kind of what got us here. But being on that set, I was like, yeah, dude, like you want to make your own stuff. Like this guy did it and he's just trying it. Like who knows if it's ever going to go anywhere, and it didn't, but he's doing it. Like what's holding you back from writing something? So I wrote Night Terrors, and it was all things that I grew up with, like horror. Like it stars one of my favorite horror icons, who's an amazing actor besides horror, Laurene Landon. And then I got to cast one of my favorite musicians, Jack from TSOL. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is why I'm here. This is why you made the jump to move down here. Continue doing that. Don't forget that. Even when you go back to the day job of producing reality stuff, don't forget what you want to do. And since then, since I kind of like gave myself that kick in the ass, you know, I write every day. I've got one movie out. I've got a new short that's coming out, you know, stacks of scripts, hopefully that someone will be interested in one day. Even if they're not, like I know that I'm doing it and it feels good in my soul. So it was just about like putting the day job to rest for a second. Still got to pay the bills and do all that shit. But why did you come out here? To write your own stuff, not to make someone else's stuff, but to try making your stuff. And with the success of Night Terrors, it was so much fun to make. Practical gore things, rad music, rad cast, tons of stories, like a lifetime of stories. So that's the long version.
Did you enjoy doing reality TV?
I do. I honestly still love it. You know, I haven't worked it all this year because of all the bullshit that's going on, but it's fun. It's fun to work in that chaos. It's fun to show up to set and someone throws a puzzle in front of you and they're like, make something out of this puzzle. Go. You know, and you've got to put all the pieces together, track and story, making sure people are on time and making sure the cameras get what you want. And I love it.
How much of reality TV is actually reality?
Zero of it. None of it's real. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't work on like Jersey Shore or,
of course, yeah,
Housewives or any of that stuff. I mean, it was all docu-reality, but it's, you know, I'm following people doing what they do, but it's got to be entertaining for TV. So if it's not entertaining for me in that moment, I have to make it entertaining. I'm the first audience. If it's not entertaining for me now, it's not going to be entertaining to Joe Schmo who's going to watch this in 6 months. So,
yeah, I can understand that because I've always pictured like, you know, the producer or director or cameraman, you know, filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and they get into a fight, but then they go cut. That fight wasn't nasty enough. Get nastier.
Yeah, I've got plenty of friends who worked on those shows, and it's not too far from the truth, man.
Really? Damn it. That's funny to me, but at the same time, it's like, you know,
but also,
a lot of people believe it.
Those people, the Kardashians, for example, they've got it down to a science. They know what people are watching. I mean, I don't watch it, and it's not my bag, but like they know what people want. So they're smart in that aspect. They're delivering what people want. They know they're there for the drama or like the goofy shit or whatever, but like they know what they need to deliver.
Yeah, and see that, and that's the problem that I have with it is because they do know that, and as like with what happened over the weekend into this week with Kim and Kanye, has really kind of pissed me off because I'm somebody that really does suffer from bipolar disorder. Mm-hmm. And what she came out and did yesterday about, you know, basically calling him out, saying everything he's done is because of his bipolar and stuff like that, being that she knows exactly how to get the crowd underneath her fingers, you know, and the way she worded it and the way it was, that's like that was a slap in the face to everyone with bipolar disorder, and I was pissed yesterday about that.
And people should be, like, people who suffer from it, people who don't suffer from it, like, they should be mad, because it to me, again, I only know the outskirts of what you're referring to, but it makes a mockery of people who suffer with it. You know, it's taken less seriously.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, and that's, again, so with the reality TV people, when they come out and they make a serious statement, you don't know whether or not they're, to use a wrestling term, playing the kayfabe, or if they're actually being real. You know, I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, like I said, that word kayfabe is used more now in reality TV than it is in wrestling nowadays, because when you walk outside those doors, you've got to be that same character, because we want people to believe that reality show is real. So do it all the time.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not it's real or not.
They've got to be on all the time.
Exactly. So when they put out public, press releases or Instagram stories, talking about it, it's kind of hard to know where the line is. And it's insulting. It's insulting to the viewer. It's insulting to people that actually care and believe. And it sucks. I hated it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and you should. And I think more people need to say, stop it, knock it off. What you're doing right now, it's not good for you. It's not good for people. Shut up, because you're not helping.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. So without giving away too much, obviously, what are you working on right now?
I just finished. Actually, I was going to send it to you before we got started, but then I got sidetracked with Legos. I just finished a new short, back to my horror roots, and we're pitching it as both a movie or a series. So I've got scripts for both, and it's with it stars Kelly Kula, who was in For the Love of Jessee, and it's basically all my team from For the Love of Jessee. And I said, hey guys, want to make a horror movie? Let's make a horror movie. So we did, and it's just a one take transformation to horror. I took the idea, or got the idea, from rewatching American Werewolf in London. The scene where he turns into the werewolf is amazing, but I thought, how cool would it be to watch that happen in a one take, in a oneer, and what that process is like. It's got to be painful. It's got to be scary. It's sad. It's everything. So I want to watch this person go through her transformation into this thing that she turns into. It's not a werewolf. So that's called Nova, and we're busy pitching that right now. I've got another script, Hyena. It's about 3 badass females who kind of take the law into their own hands, and just trying to keep the wheels a turning up here so I don't go crazy.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, and that Nova flick I definitely want to see. That sounds pretty badass. My favorite thing about, if you can pull it off, if you're a good director with good actresses and actors, if you can pull off a oneer in a way that just stuns the audience, you've got something special. One of the greatest oneers I've ever seen, and I don't know if you saw it, was on a Marvel TV show. It was a couple years back. It was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it was a scene where the actress who plays Daisy, I can't think of her name off the top of my head, who plays, or Quake, whatever you want to call her. They did this one-shot scene. It took one take to do as well. One take, one and done. And it was just this constant flow. They did it on a Steadicam, and that was the word I was looking for earlier. They did it on a Steadicam, and it was just beautiful. No stunt doubles, doubles or anything. It was all just the real actors, and it was just one of the greatest things I've ever seen on TV or film. And when you can do that and stun and actually go, oh my God, how did they do that? And immediately go to the interwebs and find out, holy shit, that was one take, and that was a oneer done on one guy's Steadicam. Yep. Holy shit, blew me away.
Yeah, that's the stuff that makes it. Is trying something new, thinking outside the box, trying something hard, because it was hard, really hard to do this. And it took a lot of post effects, and we had an amazing team working on it. but it got everybody's like wheels turning. Like, how do we have to do this? How do we do it? If we do this, let's do it right. Let's add a lot of shock value. But I was talking to Kelly as in between takes, and I was like, listen, all the gore and all that stuff, that's going to be shocking, and that's like ooh ah. But I want people to connect with you and what you're going through. So you got to go to that deep dark place, and you got to show me the sad. Like, I got to see the sad, like, because you're doing something really painful and you are saying goodbye. Like, what are you going to say? And how's that feel? So go there. And she went there, and it's good. You know, of course I think it's good, but hopefully the world will think it's good when we put it out there shortly.
Are you one of those directors, you know, cameraman, film directors, whatever you want to call it, or whatever position you're in, let's just say, to where even if you wrote it yourself and you're shooting it and the actor does it completely different than way you wrote it or ever first saw it, and it works, do you ever just say, holy shit, I was wrong, or why did you do it that way? Or do you say, great job? I mean, how do you react in that moment?
No, it's always best idea wins. My idea, your idea, you know, my DP's idea. There was a number of times for The Love of Jessee where an actor would come up and say, for example, Adrienne Barbeau in our film, she's in The Fog, Escape from New York. She's a classic, grade A, best of the best to work with. And this is why. She reads the script, and before we signed on to having her in the film, she reads it and she calls me. She's like, I really love the script. I really love this character. I have some ideas. Here are my ideas. And she rattled off a few ideas. And she's like, what if I read it this way and changed this line to this, all with explanations? I want to change this line because as a mother, I would say something like this. And most of the ideas were great. Some of them I didn't like, and they didn't make sense for the script or for the story. But point being is, best idea always wins. Best idea for the story always wins. If she was like, I have an idea, I want to come in a clown suit, and I've got, you know, shoes on my head, and that's my character, obviously I'm going to ixnay that right out the front door, you know. But it's, to me, I try to put my ego aside, and it's best idea wins. Like, it's for the better of the whole movie or whatever we're shooting. It's for the betterment of whatever we're creating. If you have a good idea, you know, it's annoying when PAs come up to you and they're like, I've got an idea for this scene. I'm like, yeah, well, wait your turn, you know. But for most part, you listen to people, hear them out, especially the actors. You know, if they're getting into their character, I want to hear your notes. If you're going to a deep spot or a weird spot, and you want to try something, I'm all game, as long as it keeps the day moving, and best idea wins.
True or false? At like one of the pinnacle scenes of the movie, or, you know, the penultimate part of the movie, right before the ending hits, or, you know, that the biggest climax of the movie, that monologue, that, you know, the conversation piece, when something like that happens on screen, true or false? The best ones are the ones that are improv in the moment.
Neither true nor false. I mean, it's both. There was, for The Love of Jessee, there's a scene where the two main characters are standing on this, watching the sunset. It's a big emotional scene, and word for word, everything that they're saying is in the script. And as we were all watching the monitor, as they're acting it, I look over, a PA's crying, my producer's crying, like they're really feeling it. But also there's a funny moment in the film. One of our actors, Tony Denman, who's rad, rattles off this super hilarious line as we were rolling right at the end of the scene, and we kept it because it was funny and it wasn't written. It's not in the script, but I was like, that's his character. It's funny. It's got to stay. So true and false.
Yeah, because one of my favorite scenes from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I always go back to this because I think it's the greatest series of movies ever. In Infinity War, when Peter Parker turns to dust, they literally wrote Tom Holland just die. in the script. Just die. However you want to die, it's on you. And when he grabbed onto Tony and says, I don't feel so good, and I don't want to go, Mr. Stark. I don't want to go, and falls to the ground and just looks at him and says, I'm sorry. That whole entire thing was improv. It was all it was all him. And I don't think a writer could have written that better. And that's why I asked that question. Because I've seen I've heard a lot of that. No, I've seen a lot of that too, especially with Jim Carrey. And he's one of the best.
It's cool that those filmmakers, that the Russo brothers are giving people that room to play. I mean, those movies are such a large thing that it's not like the amount of money and people that it takes to make those movies. Like, they are storyboarded to every inch, they are written to every inch, but still, even in the script, they're giving people the freedom to play for a second. Like, that's good, because you're going to get a gem out of that, because that Tom Holland is a good enough actor that whatever he's going to do, it's going to be genuine, be it funny, sad, whatever it is.
Do you want to stay being indie, or if Disney or Warner Brothers came to you and said, here's $1 billion, go make a movie, would you do it?
I am cashing that check tomorrow.
You know what? I don't blame you.
I am here. I am ready when you were ready. If you need a fresh voice, it's this guy. Let's go.
Yeah, because a lot of indie guys wouldn't agree with you. No, I want to stay independent. I don't want, big Disney, breathing down my neck. But no, I mean,
the best careers, I think of the director, his name's David Lowery, I believe. He did Pete's Dragon, the new one. He does all these Disney films, but in between each one, he does his own. So he's like it's the classic one for them, one for him. And his indies are like good. I mean, they're still big budget indie films with notable stars and everything, but they're great stories. And like, that's the perfect career to have, is you make your payday, you go make your Disney movie or your big studio movie, and then you pivot and you make your thing that you've been writing forever, and you put it in a handful of theaters, and it touches people or whatever. It's good, it's bad, but you still make a thing for you. So I mean, that's the perfect path.
Gotcha. No, I definitely agree with you on that. A lot of people consider that selling out, but a lot of people consider it, making sure you take care of your fucking family.
Exactly. I'm like, kid to be soon, so I got to make that money.
Exactly. Sorry if you consider it selling out, but no, I'll cash that check and you go and bitch about it somewhere else.
Exactly. You stand in line at my movie and bitch about it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care how big I build this show. Right now I'm at 20,000. If I get to a million views on shows, and NBC comes and knocking, I'm see ya.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. Yeah,
we gone
in a heartbeat.
Yep.
Dude, I have enjoyed this last hour, dude. You are a badass.
And thank you, man. No, thank you again. Like, I can't say it enough, and I'm not just blowing smoke, but it's guys like you, it's people like you that are doing these rad podcasts that help guys like myself writing movies, making our stuff, just trying to get the word out. So thank you very, very much for having me, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, podcasts can be drab, 100%. When I first started doing it, it was just, I would record it on my computer and edit it and then put it out. And then over the course of time, out of the blue one day, I just put my name up on a Facebook board, that's for finding guests for podcasts. Well, then I don't want to say sister company, but friendly company between Jimmy and Eileen, another company, her name is Holly, and her company got a hold of me. And next thing I know, she's booking me 3 and 4 guests a week. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then I'm like, so I went from, doing 3 shows a week that were just talk, Now all of a sudden, now I'm doing interviews all the time. Then all of a sudden, it became 5 in a week, and I'm like, okay, so now I got to morph into 5. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Now I'm just going to start broadcasting live because why not?
Why not?
And then the numbers started skyrocketing, and it's like, I don't want to be that same drab guy that puts out 1 episode a week or puts out just something to put out something. No, because and that's another reason why I'll never say no to any guest. I don't care if it's a fashion designer that I know nothing about and I know nothing about fashion. She or he still has a story to tell. We'll talk for an hour. I don't care.
That's a good thing. Is a lot of people, if you give them the freedom, like they have a story. Most people have a story. If they're given a good platform, people have a story to tell.
Exactly. And that's what I try to do with the show. I try not to be anybody but myself. And I don't listen to, podcasts that are like mine anymore. I don't watch Fallon anymore. I don't do any of that stuff anymore because I want everything that comes up in my head to be originally mine.
Yeah.
And therefore nobody can ever say, hey, you stole that from, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. When did he do it?
Yeah. Incorrect.
And they may have done it and they might be correct to an extent, but I didn't know about it. I can't even remember the last time I sat down and watched Fallon or Conan or listen to Stern. I have Sirius XM. I never listen to Stern. I never listen to Rogan's podcast. So I try to stay completely away from that kind of stuff. No, I do listen to podcasts, but like my favorite one right now is actually, do you remember the TV show Scrubs?
Yeah. Oh, their podcast with
with Donald Faison and Zach Braff. One of the funniest fucking podcasts out there. I listen to that religiously. Oh my god!
Good. I need to download it. I've been seeing a bunch of ads for it, so I need to download it. I'll download it tonight.
It is great. They basically just go episode by episode of Scrubs. They recap it. Go behind the scenes with it. They'll bring on other actors that were in the episode with them, but it's mostly just Zach and Donald just riffing on each other, and it's just funny as shit. They say they're recapping the episodes, but in reality, they're just being the best friend guy lovers on the entire face of the world because that's what they are. They're
love it.
They are the biggest bro love ever.
That's what they are.
They really are. And if it wasn't for that show, they would have never. And I love it. Yeah. And if it wasn't for that show, they would have never met. They met on that show. So, hey, more power to them.
Exactly. We need more bro love like that.
We do need more bro love like that. Maybe then, we'll get our Cheeto dusting president out of the White House.
Seriously. Blow the Cheeto dust off the White House, bro.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite memes ever. Right before he took office, it was one of those Biden-Obama memes, and Obama goes, "Joe, what are you doing?" And he had a bag of Cheetos going into the bathroom, and he goes, "Just in case he wants to powder his nose later." It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen ever. That's awesome. Yeah, but bro, let me tell you what. It has been great talking to you tonight. We basically already did my monologue inside of our series, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off with you. Dude, it's been rad. I think you've got some definite chops, and I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Cool, man. No, thank you again for the Love of Jessee. It's on all the platforms: Amazon, Roku, Hulu, all the Who's. It's out there, so please go escape the news for an hour and a half and check out For the Love of Jessee.
Absolutely. If you want to hang out for a second, we'll talk off the air too. All right, so guys, I appreciate it. Yeah. Tomorrow I will be back with Wendy Stewart Kaplan, 8 o'clock as normal, 8 p.m. East, 5 p.m. West, live right here on YouTube. But until then, I will talk at you tomorrow. Peace.